When it comes to the next Bank of Canada rate cut announcement on December 11th of this year, 2024, just toss out the crystal ball. There's like a 99.9999% certainty that the Bank of Canada will cut its overnight rate. The only other time the Bank of Canada has cut interest rates in December during the holidays is in 2008. And do you know what happened then? The great financial crisis. Yeah. The real question is whether they'll be cutting the overnight rate by 25 basis points or 50 basis points. And if they do another 50 basis point rate cut on top of the 50 basis point rate cut they already did in October, it's going to dramatically give the buyers more confidence going into 2025. And here's the thing, despite the potential rate cut, it won't give the buyers more buying power right now, meaning it isn't going to move the needle on pricing, especially given all the inventory. But what it will change is the sentiment of the buyers and the confidence they have going into 2025. My name is Zen, and if you're enjoying this data-driven real estate update, be sure to like and subscribe. The reason why a Bank of Canada rate cut won't change the affordability for buyers is because when there are rate cuts by the Bank of Canada, it only affects the variable mortgage. And there's already another mortgage product that is cheaper than the variable mortgage right now. And that's the fixed rate mortgage. The fixed rate mortgage right now is anywhere between 50 basis points to 80 basis point less expensive than the variable, or about 0.5 to 0.8%. Which means that if you want to qualify for the most mortgage possible, you should be getting a fixed right now. Remember, this is because the stress test tests you at your contract rate plus 2%. And if the contract is cheaper on the fixed right now, therefore you're going to qualify for more. However, all headlines are going to say, Bank of Canada cuts rates. This is exactly how the sentiment changes, even though it doesn't change the buying power. More buyers will come back to the market in 2025 for this reason. Where it gets even more interesting is if you project where the interest rates, specifically the mortgage rates, are going to be going in the future. If the Bank of Canada continues cutting, the variable mortgage rate should be going down over here, like in this orange arrow. The bond market shouldn't be moving too much in the next few months, which means that the fixed rate should stay about the same. Meaning that if the Bank of Canada continues cutting their interest rates in 2025, in January, and in March, as you can see in this 2025 Bank of Canada announcement day, the variable will become cheaper than the fixed. And each and every rate cut the Bank of Canada makes from then on will have an impact on the amount of mortgage buyers can qualify for. That's when it's going to start moving the needle on top of the sentiment. Hey, it's me interrupting myself. Ready to make a move? Just one free call, no hassle, put decades of experience to work for you. Meaning more mortgage for buyers to buy with in 2025. And for this reason is exactly why everyone is watching the CPI data. Currently, the next set of CPI numbers are out on the same day as the Bank of Canada's announcements, and you can see that the mortgage interest makes up a fairly sizable portion of the CPI basket, which the Bank of Canada can control by cutting the rates. But I suspect the CPI will remain fairly elevated, at least until spring of 2025 because of math via the base effect. You can see over here that we will be removing some negative CPI prints from the calculation in December and January, which means that there's a mathematically plausible reason the CPI will skew higher because it removes some negative numbers out of this kind of set. But once we get to, like, say, February data in spring and the higher CPI rolls off, CPI will look lower. And this is why the rate cutting path looks like this right now. However, I wouldn't rule out a 50 basis point rate cut in December of 2024 and another one in January 2025. There's still a high probability because it's on the table. Now, as for the current mortgage rates, this is what it looks like right now. And you can see that the variable is starting to come under 5%. Meaning if we get another 50 to 75 basis point rate cut by the Bank of Canada in the next few months, the variable will be cheaper than the fixed. While I'm still seeing a lot of our first-time homebuyers take the fixed for a higher mortgage amount and consistent monthly payment, however, I wouldn't discount the variable mortgage given where the projected cutting path we're seeing right now from the Bank of Canada on December 11th and in Q1 and Q2 of 2025. Don't forget, we're going to see more mortgage rates come down in the near future as well as banks start competing for your business in this upcoming mortgage war. This is exactly what I talk about in this video over here. This is a lot of mortgage news in favor of the buyers in the coming few months that is pretty much going to reshape how the market is and how the sentiment is. So make sure you tune into that video so you can understand more. I'll chat with you then.